Hey Danny, how you doing, man?
Hello, Lewis. How are you?
I am good, although you seem to be possessed by the spirit of a genie.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss? Do you know how?
Yes, Danny, very good.
Do you know how difficult it is to make my voice go that deep? I don't have the deepest voice in the world, but that's that's a great deal of effort on my part. So,
well, I thank you for it. It
Yes.
only makes me think of Javier Bardem and no one else.
well, that's good. That's what I was aiming for.
Precisely.
Well, let me just spin the fabled wheel of bullshit before we get
The
into
infamous incredible wheel.
Yes. Right, fucking hell, this, Jesus. We're not selling it.
I like the idea of someone getting in touch with us and saying, like, hi, shouting into the void team. Is there any chance you're selling the wheel of bullshit, please? Because I'd like to buy it.
Guys, it's got a great sound on it. It seems to be oiled up well. Can we talk turkey here and how much you're willing to part with it?
Very sorry, anonymous user. It's not for sale.
Right, this is going to be the third time I've taken a huge breath to try and spin this fucking thing.
You're
Right.
gonna get like oxygen poisoning or something. Fucking hell.
Okay, what I have is shower powers.
Right. When you say shower powers, do you mean like political power? What kind of political power does a shower hold?
No,
Or do you mean
Lewis.
the forcefulness behind the water in a shower?
Right, well, picture this, right? Okay, so
Okay.
you're younger, right, and you're in the shower, and you notice something very strange with the water
Right.
and how it just sort of flows out your fingertips.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah.
So when I was a bit younger, I still do. I like Star Wars, right? And I had this Luke Skywalker action figure, right? And I would take him into the shower, right? Because
Right.
when I discovered that I had these amazing abilities to shoot water out my fingers, I was like, right, fucking hell, one of my toys is getting it tonight, right? So
Better do something with this power that I've got. This incredible power.
this incredibly niche power that only works in the shower.
Come on, Waterman. We need to fight crime. Hang on, let me just pack up my portable shower. Is there a fire hydrant there for me to connect to? Is there a water main under the road? Sorry guys, I've got to get my pickaxe out and cut a hole in the road to connect to the water main for my shower. Sorry guys.
I don't know if you've ever seen Star Wars, but the third one, where Luke Skywalker gets electrocuted by the Emperor with his Sith lightning.
I'm aware of the scene. I think I might have seen it on TV at Christmas or something, but I've never seen them.
Yeah, well, I basically just sort of used the water to simulate the electricity, and just
I see.
repeat the scene word for word in the shower, and it would take at least 20 minutes before I even started washing myself. So I was getting, the door was getting pounded, and I was getting told to get out because I had.
Danny, what the hell are you doing in the shower? What are you talking about? No, what do you mean? Let the evil flow through you? What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, so Daniel, get out this shower right now. You will pay for your lack of vision. And just going like an absolute maniac, man. But have you not?
This is the difference I think between you and me. Is when I was a kid, I didn't used to imagine I was the villain of a film or TV. Like Iron Man was the one I always went to. I was like, oh yeah, I'm Iron Man. This is normal.
Oh yeah, I was always the villain,
Yeah.
in my make believe scenarios. I was, and the villain would still always lose because I had that sort of really boring notion planted into my head that
Right.
the villains always lose. So I was always like, decapitated or killed by the end of it. But
And
then
this was maintained until you watched Avengers: Infinity War, and you went, ah, so the villain can win.
No. It was maintained until I watched There Will Be Blood, and I was like, and then I was like, oh wait a minute, why does the villain have to lose? Why? do you know what? The villain's going to win. And this was in 2008, I believe. I watched it, and I didn't really understand what was going on, but I knew that I could clearly tell that Daniel Plainview was a villain. So I was like, right, come on, Luke, you're not going to beat me this time. And instead of spending 20 minutes in the shower and then getting thrown down a mine shaft by Darth Vader, I ended up killing them both. And, rejuvenating the Empire. It was great.
I see. So how long did that take you in the shower to rejuvenate the Galactic Empire?
Oh, at least 3 days. Daniel! I'm busy! On day 2.
Daddy, you're 3 days late for school. I'm busy.
Yeah. On day 2. Just... They haven't thought to kick down the door yet. I don't know why. They must really not be that bothered.
Oh, I also like to imagine this is like the only toilet the only bathroom in your house. So it's like, Danny, we haven't gone to the toilet for 3 days, but we're not really that invested in what's going on. So you can spend 3 days in the bathroom pretending to be the Emperor from Star Wars. That's fine. It was
the only bathroom because we lived in a different house. But if I wanted to do that now, I doubt I'd get away with it. But there's another. I'd just say, we've got more than one bathroom in this house. Use that one.
I suppose as well, nowadays, it goes from, oh, my 8-year-old is pretending to be the Emperor in the shower. That's like a thing you would expect an 8-year-old to do. But then now it's like, is my 20-year-old pretending to be the Emperor from Star Wars in the shower?
I would
is my
do that.
20-year-old grown adult son who pays me rent, is he in the shower? Oh, is my adult child who has a job and pays me rent? Is he pretending to be the Emperor from Star Wars?
That's what I would say. I would be like, listen, I pay my rent, same as you. I can do what I want.
Oh God!
Oh,
and then you'd think about mouse droids and how entirely useless they are.
I was listening to that last night, and I was like, do you know what? I really do love my job.
Yes, me too.
Look, what is... And I was also thinking about this, Lewis. Do you know why we're superior to most other podcasts?
Why is that?
Because I was looking at other podcasts, and they give tips on how to be better at stuff, and we'll do a podcast on this, and that'll help you enhance your skills. We have an infinite library of stuff to dip from, like just all of media at our behest. So theoretically, and media's still been pumped out, like, yearly. So it's like we're never going to run out of stuff to talk about, and that's why we are the best, because we can never.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah,
I mean,
great.
You know how much of a one I am for thinking that I'm better than other people. So that really does make me feel better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, that was sarcasm.
Oh, right.
Bold of you to assume I have self-worth. But no, I also do love my job. It sort of hits me sometimes when I'm sat here at my desk, and something small will annoy me, like it's really hot in here, or this chair's quite uncomfortable, or something really small, or like my pen just ran out, and then I'm like, but I am working from home, doing however many jobs that I love all of them. I love podcasting, I love acting, I love writing, I'm so lucky to be in the position that I am. And it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
It certainly is. Well, I can't we can't have a 10-minute bullshit and not talk about the fucking egg that you subjected me to most of last week.
Oh God. Yes, it's basically on our Patreon rewards tiers, our top tier is the official Good Egg tier. And as a reward for that tier, you get a official Good Egg keyring, which is like a crocheted egg with a keyring bit, which you can chuck on your keys or whatever. But we have a prototype egg, which I have in the room with me now, which is very exciting. And he hasn't got a keyring bit, and we've decided to christen him Eggwado, because that's a fantastic name. and we're going to take him on adventures and take photos of him in various places, and we're going to give him an Instagram, and we're going to give him like all these different things and a Patreon and merch. No, we're not.
Oh my god!
It's one of the things that I enjoy thinking about every now and then. As like a bit of a objective social media based project is how much effort would it take to get this crocheted egg to 10,000 followers? What can I do to get this egg to 10,000 followers and try and make that happen?
Jesus, yeah. Well, I think that you're a pair of fucking oddballs.
Oh, completely, yeah. My wife and I absolutely love tormenting Danny with this.
I will have no part in it whatsoever unless there's money to be made. Then I'll put my qualms aside.
Danny, I will pay you £1 to endorse Eguado. Okay.
Yeah, I have to make it 99p. I mean, it was all of last week. Every time we went live, that fucking egg would be on screen, and I'm deep in a medieval rant about some nonsense, and then I'm just completely thrown off by this little blue mound of shite poking its way from the corner of the screen. Oh my god! And you two found it absolutely hilarious.
It's your fury is what makes it hilarious. The egg itself is just an egg, an adorable woolen egg, but it is just an egg. But it's your fury is what makes me want to do it more.
Yeah.
If you were indifferent towards the egg, I would just not do it anymore.
Well, I'm not. Is that what this is? Is there some devious ploy to make me change my behaviour and calm down? I won't do it, Lewis. I won't do it. I am who I am.
Well, Danny, I actually have a question for you.
All right.
Do you drink things sometimes?
Yeah.
Well then, do you sometimes need to use a straw to drink things?
I do, yes.
Spectacular! Well, we are proud to announce, shouting into the void, that we are partnered with Stroodles, which is a fantastic name. I love that so much. It makes me smile every time I say it. They are a pasta straw making company. You may remember pasta straws from when Danny talked about straws briefly a million episodes ago, and then I went on a massive rant about my pasta straws idea and all this. Well, it wasn't my idea, let's be honest. And then there's a company that makes them, and they sell them, and we are partnered with them, and I cannot tell you how pleased I am that all the events that have happened in my life have led to this point, where I am saying on a podcast to an audience, check out stroodles.co.uk. They are absolutely fantastic. It's they stay strong for an hour. They are completely biodegradable. They're just absolutely brilliant. I'm sorry. I'm just amazed by my life for a second. Tag in, Danny.
Yeah. Well, anyone that knows me, I have a metal straw, and very soon I will be replacing it with a strudel because they just look amazing and they're edible as well.
Precisely.
So once you get. Yeah, once you get tired of drinking out of them, you can eat them, and it's they are fantastic.
It's the thing that I love about it is like obviously plastic straws are bad for the environment and get into the ocean and take 10,000 years to dissolve or whatever, and then paper straws are literally the worst thing in history because like after about 3 seconds of being in your drink, they just turn into a mush, which no longer is viable to suck up drink with. But pasta straws are not that, because obviously it's like dried pasta, like you get from the supermarket or whatever. So you just chuck it in your drink, it stays strong for like an hour, it's completely biodegradable, it's brilliant. It's like rigid and organic and brilliant, and I'm big into it.
As am I, and you should be too.
Indeed you should be. Go and check out stroodles.co.uk. They sell some amazing stuff. We haven't received them yet, but we are shortly going to receive some packs of Stroodles, and when we do, they will be all over our social media, I am sure, and all over our desks in assorted drinks. So check them out, stroodles.co.uk. They're a super great company. Go and check them out.
Absolutely. Well, Lewis, that was a perfect segue into
it
that.
Was beautiful segue.
I was screaming like a lunatic, and you just went, right, okay, I've just changed the subject before Daniel has a brain aneurysm. But
God,
shall we talk about today's film?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay. Well, as I'm sure you all know, it was my turn to choose this week, and I chose No Country for Old Men.
Hang on,
And
Danny.
it was-
Hang on. Just. Oh, fuck. Okay, go on.
And it was written by the Coen brothers and Cormac McCarthy, who wrote the book that the film is based on. It was directed by Ethan Coen and Joel Coen, who are the Coen brothers, but I decided to put both their names. And it's starring Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Tommy Lee Jones, Kelly MacDonald, and Woody Harrelson.
Indeed, it is. It does star all of those people.
It does. It does.
No, isn't that good?
Do you have an opening statement, Lewis?
I do. A bleak story about the inevitability of change in the world. A lot of skill and work went into this award-winning film, and it truly shines through.
Excellent. A dark and somber look at morality, or a lack of it. It challenges the old Western archetypes of white hats v black hats, and makes us question. What the fuck have I wrote? You can tell I'm prepared for this. Makes us question. Makes us ask questions that risk making our time on this earth not worth much, or indeed anything at all.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
This is my first Coen Brothers film. First Coen Brothers film
Really?
I've ever watched. Yes. What are the other ones? There's Coen
Fargo.
Brothers. Fargo. I watched the TV series and I thought, God, this is a bit I didn't like it very much. Fargo. Okay.
Oh my god! How
No
could you
Country
not
for Old
like
Men,
Fargo?
Big Lebowski. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the things that happened in it, but I was just like, it felt like a lot of effort to watch it. Do you know what I mean?
Martin Freeman's Michigan accent in it. Hey, what's happening? I can't do a Michigan accent, but I was surprised to see him in it. You know, and Ewan McGregor's in the third series, I think.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Am
But
I right
any-
in thinking that Fargo the TV series is like cut down from Fargo the film?
It's not. No, it's a separate story. They're separate stories like every season.
Oh, okay. That's the vibe I got watching it. I was like, someone's taken some scissors to a film. That was the vibe I got.
No. It's like different stories in in the same setting. So.
Okay,
Not
okay.
bad. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Fargo. We're here to talk about No Country for Old Men. So,
Indeed
any
we are.
CRQs?
I have a question.
Go on.
At the start of the film, there is the guy in the truck who's been like shot or something, and then Josh Brolin opens the door and goes, "Oh hey, you all right?" He doesn't say that, but he could. And then the guy looks at him and goes, "Agua, agua." He's asking for water, like, and
Yeah.
then after a bit he says, "Encierro la puerta, hay lobos." Meaning, close the door. There are wolves.
Lobos. Yep.
But and what's his name? Josh Brolin says, "There ain't no gosh darn wolves around here." Can you tell I can't do a southern accent? Says there aren't no
I
any-
believe
there are
the
no
actual
wolves.
quote is... Yeah, I think he actually says, there ain't no goddamn Lobos.
That's really good. I like that. Yeah, there ain't no goddamn lobos. But does he think that there are? This bloke who's like dying from dehydration in the car because there has been something else at his truck. This was sort of something I thought. It's maybe there's sort of a parallel story running throughout about sort of the nature of your imagination when you're in a terrible situation like that. Like Josh Brolin, like he spends the entire film being pursued by Javier Bardem. And I think it's interesting to consider the element that his imagination plays in that. Of like, well, Javier Bardem's right outside the door. What's he doing? I don't know because I can't see him. And then he's trying to fill in the blanks with his imagination and with his thought. And I just thought that's like an interesting little nugget that I quite liked. About there are wolves, but obviously there aren't wolves. Apparently.
Well, there are wolves in the form of the Mexican Cartel.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Which symbolically works. Now, I want to talk about the Mexican Cartel because they're in, as I can recall, 3 scenes in the entire film.
Okay.
When Josh Brolin goes back to give the guy agua, and then they show up and he gets chased by the dog and he runs for his life, essentially. Second time is when one of the cartel members goes to Kelly MacDonald's mum and ask, where is it you're staying?
Oh yeah, the guy with the suit and the bolo tie. Yeah.
That's right. And the third scene is when Sheriff Bell is driving towards the hotel and he sees them scrape out and drive off as fast as he can, and then he finds Josh Brolin dead. Now, that brings me on to my next question. What is different about this Western compared to other ones? Bearing all that in mind.
The bad guys are a bit more of like a vague force in the distance than they are up in your face sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get, is like the bad guys exist and they're out there, yeah, but you sort of don't see them until it's too late in a strange way. At every stage you don't really see them until it's too late. What's his name? Josh Brolin doesn't see them until it's too late. When they stab his tyres and set a dog on him or whatever, and then by the time he sees them, he's like, oh shit, my car's already kind of fucked. Do you know what I mean? And then then you don't see them until it's too late later when Sheriff Bell sees them, and oh no, Josh Brolin is already dead.
Yeah.
Josh
well,
Brolin?
Everything that lead. Yeah, Josh Brolin. Yeah, that's his.
Good, yeah.
That's not his character's name, but.
No, I mean, I have no idea what any of these character names are. I will be referring to them as the actor names because I'm terrible with names of characters.
Fair enough. But most Western films, at least 30 years ago, have always been white hats and black hats. The sort of archetypes of good and bad, the lawman and the lawless. They've always been heavily defined, more morality wise. But Josh Brolin's character has got a white hat, and he seems to be nothing more than an opportunist whose first major act of the film is to steal some money and then get chased for it. And Anton Chigurh, Javier Bardem's character, is dressed in black, and he's a ruthless killer, but he has somewhat more principles than Josh Brolin's character.
Yeah, with flipping the coin to determine whether to kill people, and
Yeah, I mean, so it's about sort of blurring the lines between, what we've always thought the West to be about, or just life in general. That, the illusion that there has always been defined good and defined bad, when the world has never been that simple. It's just this nostalgic feeling that Tommy Lee Jones' character has always had, and it's this sort of realization that the world isn't like that anymore, and probably never was in the first place. Is what causes him to hang his hat up and say, I can't do it anymore.
It's a similar thing to
and
what...
the film ends... Sorry, but the film ends so unlike what you would expect a Western to be. It's all building up to a huge big shootout between, the good guy and the bad guy, but, the last we see of Brolin alive is when he's getting asked to have some beers with this stranger that he's never met, and he gets killed by a third party that we've seen twice in the film, and it's like, and I first watched it and I'm, oh my god, that's him, he's dead. And then Javier Bardem gets hit by a car and basically gets away, and the film ends with Tommy Lee Jones telling two dreams and then immediately done. So it's I think what the film is saying is that life is rarely as nostalgic as you would like it to be. It's not about fairness or randomness. It's just well it is about randomness. It's like whatever's happening to us is out of our control, and just because we have romantic notions of good will beat bad doesn't mean that will ever happen.
It's about indeed, everything, the inevitability. The film itself is about the inevitability of change with regards to the human condition, and I think the film and the key themes of the film reflect that as well. In that the film itself is a change from a more traditional Western. Do you know what I mean? It's just different in so many different ways.
Do you think justice exists?
I don't know. I think it's so impossible to define in a lot of ways, because it's like, okay, well, let's define justice as this justice system or whatever, and then, okay, yeah, we've written up a load of laws and we've done all these things, but then who has the right to objectively say all of these laws are just? Because there are obvious things, like, okay, well, you shouldn't just kill somebody for the fun of it. That, like, I think we can pretty much all agree that's a bad thing, killing somebody for the fun of it. But then there are more.
I mean, we can't.
What?
Because people do that.
Well, yeah, okay. But
So
my point is that in a justice system, that idea would often go fairly unopposed. We'd say, okay, we probably shouldn't let people kill people for fun. But then there are more complex things at work, like, okay, we shouldn't let people steal things. That would often go quite unopposed. But then you get to the point of, well, is it still a crime if you can't afford to feed your family, so you steal the cheapest loaf of bread that a store offers, or whatever? Do you know what I mean? Is that the same crime as breaking into a bank and stealing some jewels? No, obviously it's not. But my point I'm trying to make is that justice is in a lot of ways subjective. There's no true way to say, yep, all these laws, they're all fine. We are 100% certain that every law we've ever written is perfect, because there's no way to know what the future holds. There's no way to know. You're going to get to a point in the future where you think, oh my god, those laws were barbaric. Do you know what I mean? That it's difficult to look back and know that. Like, yeah, it's. So to answer your question, I don't know.
Well, I think what's just, or what's considered just, suits the historical period that we're in, and it's incredibly subject to change. You know, there were things that were considered just, you know, maybe, I don't know, 50 years ago that today would be considered, you know, barbaric.
Yeah,
but,
a classic example is like the civil rights movement in America. Like, that wasn't that long ago, really. Do you know what I mean?
It wasn't, or homosexuality being illegal.
Yeah.
You know, that really wasn't that long ago, but, and now that we've done away with it, everyone's like, that's just, but it's like, when it's, and it is just, obviously, I think it's just, and you think it's just, and most normal thinking people think it's just, but it's like, there is no inherent version of what justice means. It's just us human beings making the rules. So for a character like Anton Chigurh, who's a psychopath, for him to have that realization would probably be like, well, nothing really is just, and I can do what I want. These laws that you've created are just, you know, things that you've created. So why do I need to abide by them? And it's, you know,
and then he's sort of made his own laws in a funny way with the tossing of the coin, and
exactly,
a lot of what he does is just left to chance.
Yeah. What do you think of Chigurh as a character?
A great character. Yeah, I think it's I think all the best characters invite a lot of questions, and Chigurh definitely invites questions. And it's like, well, how did he get to be what he is? Because like a common theme in the film is that people have served in Vietnam. Did Chigurh serve in Vietnam? Is that why he's sort of adept with weaponry, or is it School of Hard Knocks sort of thing that taught him that? Like, I like Chigurh as a character. He's a fascinating character. I also think it's like, good character. I like him. He's good. I think the thing I struggle with this film, I think this is going to be yours and my sort of primary disagreement with this film, is that this film is like a capital G good film, as opposed to a lowercase g good film. Do you know what I mean? Like, this film is the kind of film that cleans up at the Oscars, but while I was watching it, I didn't really enjoy it that much. I think,
Right.
yeah, twists and turns that I enjoyed, and there were bits that I enjoyed, but as a whole package, I just thought, yep, it's a film, and things happened. And, like, I sent you a text right after I finished it, and I said, just finished No Country for Old Men. It's really bummed me out. Because, like, the ending is Tommy Lee Jones saying, yeah, well, I mean, I've taken the dream to sort of be, well, my dad's dead, and pretty soon I'm going to die, and then I'll meet him in heaven. That's basically what he was saying. And it's like, okay, well, now I'm just sad, so I'm going to go downstairs and eat some yogurt or something to make myself feel better. Or do you know what I mean? I didn't enjoy this film. My classic example I always go to is like Alien 1 and Aliens, which, I mean, alright, this always annoys me. I need to come up with some kind of a system. Alien 1, Alien 2. Anyway, so the first and second films in the Aliens franchise. The first one is a capital G good film. It's a classic horror, really, really sort of genre-defining for sci-fi and horror and all this sort of thing. Absolutely fantastic. But I would always prefer to watch the second one, which is, essentially, it's much more of just a brainless shootout film in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of ridiculous things, like that bloke who, when they crash the shuttle and he goes, "It's game over, man. We're all dead. It's game over," or whatever. It's all these ridiculous things. I would always prefer to watch that than watch a capital G good film. And I mean, I'm essentially just reading my closing statement out loud now. But the only film that I can think of that sort of personifies both of those capital G good and lowercase g good ideas is Bohemian Rhapsody. Because I think the uppercase G...
The newest one.
Yeah, the Freddie Mercury biopic.
Yeah.
I think that it tells the capital G great story of a life of a man who's just trying to do right by the people around him, even when the people around him are all these venomous snakes in a lot of situations. And he's just trying to live his life the best way he can, and it's really difficult for him. But it also tells the lowercase g good story of a rock band, and that you enjoy watching, and you enjoy watching the Live Aid performance at the end. And I think that is the only film that springs to mind that combines those two goods for me. You might disagree. I might be coming at this from the wrong angle, but that's the way I look at this film. Is it's a capital G good film. Like, yes, Javier Bardem did an amazing performance, and everybody makes good decisions, and it's an impressively made film. But watching it, I didn't have a lot of fun.
No, I don't think you were meant to.
Yeah.
I think the entire point of the film is to say that, that life is not fair, and it's not fun, and it's, it can be, but I don't know how. I think it's just. It's almost like a massive troll in a way, because everyone is expecting a huge, sweeping epic western of good guys v bad guys, and a huge big shootout at the end, and Moss. I remember Josh Brolin's character Llewellyn Moss, and he rides off into the sunset with Carla Jean, and they live happily ever after, and life is just not like that, and and that's what the film is trying to say. It's trying to say that the old sort of romantic view of that, being the way things are, that's wrong, and it also was never like that. And I know it's not fun to watch. I can understand how you would just be like, fucking hell, Jesus Christ, this film it just doesn't let up, does it? But having films that just are there for sole entertainment don't really interest me.
No, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think in a way I find this film to be too far on the capital G good scale, and I think there are films that are too far on the lowercase g good scale. Like you watch, say, any of the Fast and Furious movies. They're far on the lowercase g good scale. They're enjoyable to watch because these ridiculous things happen, and The Rock is like eminently watchable in these films, and all that sort of stuff. But they also have they have nothing to say in a way. Do you know what I mean? There's no hidden deeper meaning. I think in my favourite films are all. I mean, I contradict myself. I contain multitudes. Everything in moderation. All that sort of stuff. But like, I think my favourite films are sort of, if it's possible, they're ideally perfectly in between the two. Like Bohemian Rhapsody is up there for me because it's perfectly in between the two. My favourite film, like Hot Fuzz, which we're talking about next week, is I would class that as my favourite film because it's got something to say about like the nature of this tiny little echo chamber community, but it's also fun to watch. And then other things like
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, The Dark Knight has something to say about chaos and order and justice, but it is also fun. Do you see what I mean? And things like Terminator 2 is the other one as well that is classically one of my favourites, and that has something to say about the inevitability of self-destruction and all this in a world which is fun to look at, and it's fun to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger do ridiculous things, and it's fun to watch Linda Hamilton shoot people. Do you know what I mean? I think my ideal films are somewhere between the two. I don't think I like this. This is way too far. I'm doing hand gestures now, but like if you imagine it like a speedometer, this and like in the middle is like that's a terrible example. But if you imagine it like I think this is the needle is slid far over to the side of capital G good. I think say There Will Be Blood. I find more enjoyable moments in that than I do in this film. I think this is slightly the needle edges slightly further up the sort of scale on that for me, like the bit where the oil derrick shoots oil into the sky and all that sort of stuff, and you see Daniel Day-Lewis doing business deal, and there's lots of clever, intelligent bits that I enjoy watching. I just think this film had fewer clever, intelligent bits and more bits that were just the rest. Do you know what I mean? I think don't get me wrong, capital G good film, 100%. But it's just not high enough on the scale for me to think, I can't wait to watch this again. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, I think that's because it's like life.
I suppose so.
Most people watch films to almost escape or to just think about something else for a couple hours, and this film sort of, it has no music. The score of the film is just the wind, which is really haunting. It's like that's the only accompaniment that you hear to it, and it's not fair, it's not pretty or anything like that, and it just ends completely disappointingly, and it ends with a man who thinks that he's doing the right thing and for justice, eventually saying, look, I give up, I can't compete with this randomness and chaos that's now throughout the world. It's such a depressing ending, but I think it's like, and if you're wanting a couple hours of enjoyment and just enjoying yourself, this is not the film to do it.
I do appreciate the message this film has, and I think that's why I like this film in an objective sense, is I appreciate what it's saying about the unfairness of society and everything. I didn't enjoy it while I was watching it. I enjoy it sort of looking back at it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think another example is, have you ever watched Annie Hall?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's a Woody Allen film, and it's about his relationship with this girl, Annie Hall. And the story is of their relationship, and so you join the story at the point where they meet, and the end of the film is the point where they split up.
Right.
And that's the film, basically. And I appreciate what it's saying about sort of the fleetingness of a relationship in a world where everything's very superficial. But on the same level, I just didn't enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
I understand. Don't get me wrong. It's not about the bleakness of the theme. Like, I do like a good bleak film, but I think that it's this Annie Hall thing. It's slightly too far on the capital G good scale. Where it's like, okay, I know that it's got something to say about the nature of a romantic relationship in a world with an increasingly short attention span. But it can say that in a different way, and I'd be more engaged. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the thing that I recognise about this film and about Annie Hall, the films are both essentially just conversations that happen. There's a conversation, and then a bit of a break, and then another conversation, and then a bit of a break. And do you know what I mean? That's the main part of both of these films. That's where most of the storytelling is told. And it's like, as much as I enjoy watching dialogue, it's not engaging in a lot of ways. There's not as much physical storytelling and
You've got to say the chase scene at the hotel, or both hotels, those are fucking tense.
oh bloody hell, yeah, completely. Where yeah, okay, let's get off the bashing of good films for a second. But yes, they are absolutely superb. The chase scenes are, and Josh Brolin jumps out of a window, and oh god.
Yeah, and Sugar is like right behind him, and it's like, and I love the, there's something scarier about a sort of, not a loud bang aiming for you, but a sort of small, sharp, precise pellet that's going.
It sounds almost weird, but it sounds almost like a ray gun or something from old school sci-fi. It sounds like a pew pew. It sounds like a ray gun or something. But you're right. It's the silence is deafening in a way.
Sugar is like the modern equivalent of like death. It's like I think that's what death would look like if he incarnated himself into today's world, or in a Western setting. He's all dressed in black. His hair is a bit like a hood almost.
I suppose so, yeah.
And that oxygen tank.
Oh bloody
Jesus
hell. Yeah.
Christ! That is a scythe and a half if ever I've seen one. When he gets the guy out of the car, and it's, I was thinking about this. It's like the film is rejecting the notions that of like traditional justice and how those are not really real in a way, and we've never really sort of had concrete versions of justice. And I'm thinking, this guy is doesn't even know this person. He's not even dressed like a police officer, and he's quite happy just to get out and just be killed. And it's because it's like, I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. Because would you question that if a police car pulled you over, guy got out dressed in all black with an oxygen tank? I would now, but say you hadn't watched the film.
I think I would question it, but probably internally, because it's like it comes back to this whole sort of terrified of the police in a strange way, like Ben Wyatt in Parks and Rec. He's at like a bar, and they're hosting this pizza party to say thanks to the policemen in the town.
Yeah.
And Ben Wyatt is petrified of all of these policemen. And there's this bio bit where he's like, I've never committed a crime in my life, and it's because I'm terrified of policemen. That any one of them could arrest me. And I think that's the angle I'd come at it from. Is, well, I'm terrified of policemen, so on the off chance he's a plainclothes detective or whatever, I'd better get out of the car. Do you know what I mean?
Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, it's a terrible thing. Don't get me wrong. It's the fact that I am just so willing to go along with these abstract societal instructions. It's not great. But I'm not sure where I was going with that.
At least it makes you ask those questions. It's like, it's not saying that you should just fuck the law and just do what you want, but it's like this. He was so willing. He was just like, yes, there's a police car, I must do as I say, and got out, and then was killed for it. And not only is it a good character moment for Sugar, because I bet that proves his point even more, and this just will egg him on. It's like, yep, that guy just got out and I killed him, and because he's holding on to his tenuous view of justice and order. It's like, and that is so bleak. That is just so bleak. But I love it. Right. I can't help but love it. The people love these rom-com stuff, and it's everything's happy. See, when everything's bleak, that's when I'm the happiest. Damn it.
Oh God. Well, talking of everyone, there are times in life when you need to do things, and for some of those things you need several people, and they could come together as everyone in an intergalactic dream team.
Oh my God! Wow! It's seamless. What? 8 degrees of separation there. Fucking it. I thought it was like, how long is this going to take? Do I need to rewatch the film?
Well, I have a absolutely flawless IGDT this week, and I think
right, okay.
I think you're going to love it.
I've got my pen.
I've written the first two the wrong way around, so you're gonna have to bear with me a second.
All right, okay.
Right, for my team of 5 people,
Yep.
you've got number 1 is Professor X from the X-Men.
Again?
Yes, I genuinely think he could solve any problem presented to him.
Okay.
Number 2, Nightcrawler, also from the X-Men, the teleporting blue guy.
Not bad.
3, Superman.
Right.
4, McGonagall from Harry Potter, and 5, Dumbledore, also from Harry Potter.
Fucking hell, this is a bit of an get a few MVPs here.
Right, the villain is Voldemort, also from Harry Potter, and the ship is Cerebro from the X-Mansion.
Okay.
Right, so...
Wait a minute, just let me write... Okay.
Right, so, you get Professor X, you chuck him in Cerebro, and then, using his mind powers, he essentially takes control of everybody else on the team. And he uses Dumbledore and McGonagall to keep Voldemort busy.
Right.
And then, he goes into Voldemort's mind, using his mind powers that are enhanced by Cerebro, and he discovers the location of all 7 Horcruxes.
Okay.
And then he puts those locations into the mind of Nightcrawler and Superman. And then Nightcrawler, because he now knows what the place looks like, teleports there immediately with Superman in tow.
Yeah.
And then Superman gets the Horcrux and flies it directly into the sun.
Okay.
And then, when all the Horcruxes are dealt with, Professor X makes everybody come home, and Superman rips off Voldemort's head and then flies Voldemort into the sun.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Is it canon that the sun can destroy Horcruxes?
I'm going to go with yes.
Is it?
It's destroying the item itself, I think, is what gets rid of the... I don't know, what's the... No, there are rules for Horcruxes, aren't they? It's like Basilisk Venom and...
Now, it's been a long time since I've watched Harry Potter, but if I remember correctly, the thing that can destroy Horcruxes is a basilisk venom, and just basilisk venom, because the Sword of Gryffindor had basilisk venom embedded into it.
Yes. Okay, so it needs to be the basilisk venom, or fiend fire. Well, I think fiend fire is the other thing that can destroy a Horcrux. So I think the sun is made of fiend fire.
Is it though?
No, probably not. Although, what I'm going to say instead is that you just get Dumbledore and you say, "Hey up, Dumbles." In fact, no, Dumbledore's kind of a bit stronger against Voldemort. You get to McGonagall. You say,
what time period is this in Voldemort's life?
This is shortly before the events of Harry Potter. Because otherwise he'd already be dead. So you know.
Well, what Harry Potter though?
The first one.
Right. Okay. So he's at his weakest then.
Oh yeah, hang on, that's a good point. Okay, Deathly Hallows.
So he's got his body back.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the Horcruxes have already been taken care of. Now, if I remember correctly, Ravenclaw's diadem hasn't been destroyed.
Yep.
Wait, Deathly Hallows Part 1?
Yeah,
because I'm got right. Okay, so just the entire Deathly Hallows then.
Mm.
Okay, so Ravenclaw's diadem, Nagini,
Mm-hmm.
the locket.
Mm-hmm. Helga Hufflepuff's cup.
Yep, the cup.
Harry Potter himself.
Harry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So what's been destroyed? The ring and the diary.
Yes. So then what you need to do is you get McGonagall to summon some fiend fire, and then she does. And then Superman and Nightcrawler will get the Horcruxes, throw them in the fire, jobs are good.
So we're
then get
killing
Voldemort,
Harry.
Fly him into the sun. Yeah, we're killing Harry.
So everyone's okay with killing a teenager.
Well, Professor X is perfectly okay with putting children in the line of fire, and he's controlling everyone, so yeah.
Okay. And how easy is it to summon fiend fire?
Quite, if memory serves. I'm pretty sure it's like...
and Harry and Hermione and Ron couldn't do it?
Well, I mean, they could do, but they aren't on my team.
No. I mean in the books.
Okay, hang on a second. It's a cursed fire... Fiend fire conjured by Crabbe in the Battle of Hogwarts. Okay. Okay, it's a what's the word? It's just like it's a spicy fire that's cursed. When cast, it's an immensely powerful fire that cannot be extinguished by normal or enchanted water. It's also very difficult for the caster to control, flowing from their wand a continuous stream of flame. The caster flicks their wand when the stream of flame was still running from it, a jet of fire would shoot off and become a flaming animal. Okay, so essentially, it's just an enchantment that you can cast. The reason I picked McGonagall to cast it is because she has a lot of magical knowledge.
Yeah.
I think the reason that Harry and, according to this Harry Potter fandom website, Harry Potter speculates that one of the Death Eaters taught Crabbe how to cast Fiend Fire.
Right.
So, I'm presuming that McGonagall, with all of her over a century of magical knowledge, has the wherewithal and the knowledge to cast Fiend Fire.
And if not her, definitely Dumbledore.
Yes, definitely at least one of the two of them will know how to do it.
Okay.
See, perfectly watertight that one.
It wasn't. I mean, you were gonna just throw them into the sun.
I forgot about the how Horcruxes require a special type of destruction, but yeah, that is a good shout.
Oh, well, I mean, fair enough. I can't think of anything that would go wrong with that.
Anyway, I've got a question about this film.
I'll be back to that. Seamless!
Oh god. Did Javier Bardem pay for the mother-in-law's funeral?
Probably not.
Because there's that line where the lady is like, "Well, I've got bills to pay." Oh no, and Javier Bardem's like, "Don't worry about it." I took that to mean he's going to pay them all.
No, because he's going to kill her.
Oh, okay. So do you think he did kill her then?
I think he did, yeah. Because she refused to play, and
but then when you think about it, that's the only sensible thing to say, really. Because it's like he's going to kill you if you play, kill you if you don't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's dead because he checked his boots as he left, as if to say, "Oh, have I got any blood on them or anything like that?" So I think she is dead. I love how when he said, I got bills to pay, and he goes, "I wouldn't worry about it." Your first reaction isn't, "Oh my god, he's gonna kill her." Oh, he's gonna pay them off. That's really nice of him.
That was what I
this cold-hearted killer. This guy nearly killed a guy at a gas station for asking if he got any rain up where he was from. It's like, oh, he's going to pay her bills. Excellent.
Well, he has like a moral code. I presumed it's in his moral code to take care of the widow he created.
No, I mean, because he promised Moss that he would do it. That's the only reason he was there.
Okay.
It's like, I made a promise to your husband. I mean, it's like the word of a promise to a dead man is more important than her life to him and his warped sort of way of looking at things. What I was going to ask is, what do you think of Ed Tom Bell's dreams? Will I remind you what they are?
Yeah, I think one of them was my dad rode past me on a horse and he was going to set up a fire, and I knew when I got there I'd be fine.
Yep, the first one is I don't remember too well, but it was about meeting him in town somewheres, and he gave me some money. I think I lost it. The second one, I'll go with the first one. What do you think of the first one?
He gave me some money and then I lost it. Maybe it's the passing of the baton of the responsibility of being sheriff.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh well, you know, I have ended up like just giving up because I don't know what to do next."
Yeah. I think it is stuff to do with the actual money in the film.
Oh, okay.
You know, with Llewell and Moss, and how I think it's maybe a sort of rejection of greed and how that leads to only violence and harm for yourself. But it's pretty loose. It's it's only a couple of sentences, that one. But the second one is It was like we was both back in older times, and I was on horseback going through the mountains of a night, going through this pass in the mountains. It was cold, and there was snow on the ground, and he rode past me and kept on going. Never said nothing going by, just rode on past. And he had this blanket wrapped around him and his head down. When he rode past, I seen he was carrying a fire and a horn the way people used to do, and I could see the horn from the light inside of it, about the colour of the moon. And in the dream I knew he was going on ahead, and he was fixing to make a fire somewhere out there in all that dark and cold. And I knew whenever I got there he'd be there. And then I woke up.
I see. Well, I think that's about the afterlife. He thinks that his dad's dead. He's going on to sort of prepare the afterlife for him. And now, what's that? Shortly before this, he said, like, I'm older than my father ever was. So I think he's just sort of saying, well, I'm gonna die pretty soon then, and then I'm gonna meet my dad in heaven or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think it's about his nostalgia again, and how his dad represents this sort of clear-cut justice and you know, a beacon of morality, and out in the dark and the cold is probably the world that he now finds himself embroiled in. And he would like to hope that wherever he goes, that justice and morality will always be there for him. But then he wakes up because that's not the way life is anymore, and it probably never was. Fucking hell.
I've got a quick question before we wrap things up.
Go on.
Who is that old man in the wheelchair?
That's his oh shit. That's his brother, I think.
His brother? Because I was like, well, is that his dad maybe? But then his dad's dead. I could not for the life. I have no idea who that man is.
I'm sure. I think it's his. Wait a minute. 4 old men. Ellis. Oh no, it's his uncle.
Okay, that's bizarre.
Sheriff Bell's uncle is a retired sheriff who uses a wheelchair since being disabled by a gunshot wound in the line of duty.
Okay.
Yep, so that's his uncle. I thought, fucking hell, you try and pay attention as much as you can, but you're right, it's such a bit. Oh my god, what's going on now? Is this uncle going to get shot in the head? Oh my god.
Oh, it's yeah, I think that is sort of more or less the end of the usable portion of my notes. But yeah, it's I do admire the message this film carries about the changing of time as time passes, and it's impressive that it speaks in this interesting way that is quite rare, really.
Yeah. I think I'm the same. I think I've finished.
Where?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. It's groovy. Have you got a closing statement, Cocker?
You go first.
Okay.
You go first.
This is largely what I was saying earlier, but there are two types of good films: capital G good and lowercase g good. This is an uppercase G good film, and that said, I just don't enjoy it. This film is bleak, no two ways about it. In spite of the endless surprises, twists and turns, and good decision making throughout, the bleakness reigns supreme. I don't like this film. It's too capital G good. It's worth saying I also don't like films that are too lowercase g good, like some of the later MCU films. However, they are slightly more enjoyable from an aesthetic point of view, if nothing else. The best example of good v good is Alien 1 and Alien 2. The first one is complex, horrifying and genre-defining, however the second one is much more enjoyable. 1 is good, capital G, 2 is good, lowercase g. The only film I can think of that's a good blend of the two is Bohemian Rhapsody. It's a good story about a man who works tirelessly in spite of consistently awful surroundings, and it's also eminently enjoyable, with good set pieces and characterization throughout. I know that there's a lot of skill in this film, from acting to writing to directing, and it has an incredibly powerful message that it's trying to get out there, and it succeeds with. And I'm impressed by everything that this film puts on the table, but I simply didn't enjoy it.
Fair enough, man. Life isn't fair, and this film makes us sober on that. What we value in this world is not set in stone and will eventually pass. It's bleak and dark, just like life, and that's sad, but necessary.
Who doesn't love a good old bleak ending to a nice uplifting podcast, eh?
Hey, boy.
Right, I think that's more or less everything. Have we got to do some shilling, Cocker?
We do have some shilling to do. I am on Instagram at O'Hiram. I'm on Facebook at Daniel K. Actor. I'm on Twitter at Kelzo2000. What are you on, Lewis?
I'm on Instagram at Lewis_Brindley. I'm on Twitter at LewisBrindley4, and I have a Facebook page which is called Lewis Brindley. I named it after myself. Do you like it?
I do like it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We are hosted by Podomatic. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We have a YouTube channel. We're on Deezer. We have a PayPal donate button. We have Patreon, and we would like to take this opportunity to thank our wonderful patrons, Chloe, Darius, Sophie, Peter, and of course Aditya. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you. You are all good eggs. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we are also, as well as Stroodles Limited, we are also partnered with a lovely company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue. Lewis, this is your gig.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. You can stop applauding now. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a spectacular company run by my amazing and incredible wife. She crochets, and she is ludicrously good at it. So good at it that it scares me a bit. And she's currently making this beautiful blanket. She's making loads of stuff. She's making key rings and little tokens to go out, and we hide them out there in the world just to spread a little bit of crochet happiness. And it's a wonderful company. She takes commissions. She's going to be starting up a shop soon. It's all really exciting. Check her out on Instagram at Number 12 Crochet Avenue.
Yes, please do. Well,
I think that might be everything, aside from an important thing. What are we doing next time, Dan?
Well, we, in preparation for episode 40, are going to do the Cornetto trilogy, starting with Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz, my favourite film of all time. I love Hot Fuzz.
Wow.
My beautiful wife is going to join us. She also loves Hot Fuzz. We're going to talk about Nicholas Angel and his mates as they run around Sanford.
Yep, quite right. Well, that's us.
Indeed it is. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast, if you've made it this far through the incredible bleakness that is this film, and through me saying, yeah, I didn't really like this film, but I'm still going to talk about it for an hour, to me saying, yeah, Superman's going to throw Voldemort's corpse into the sun. If you've got through all of those things, thank you very much for listening.
I'm sorry I made you do that, Lewis. I know that you would never make me watch a film that I hated in the outset and just make me talk about it. That would never happen. Never.
No, it's yes, I do enjoy these episodes where not so much we have a bit of conflict, but like where we have a difference of opinion. I enjoy these episodes.
Yeah, I agree with everything you say. Podcast over. Goodbye.
Now we're going to talk about Citizen Kane. This film is good. End of story.
It is good. Made by good people who are good at things.
End of episode. I haven't actually watched Citizen Kane. It might be terrible. I mean, it probably is.
Oh my! You haven't watched Citizen Kane? Are you out your fucking rocker? Oh my god!
I spend a lot of time watching lots of different bits about like stuff and things.
Right? Yeah. Just keep that enthusiasm under wraps there, Liz. I have watched bits and things about things.
I have watched bits of Citizen Kane. The point I'm trying to get out there, but the sentence fell apart and died in my mouth. But yeah, I have watched bits.
Lewis,
the whole thing.
Never become an ad salesman, okay? That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, good point.
Thank you so much for listening. We will hear you, smell you, lick you, spit on you next week.
We will. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.